Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome, or hopefully it's welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the Corner Bookstore. And joining me for our show is my friend and the co-star of this program, and also a big part of everything we do here at USA Global TV and Radio, DIANN FLOYD. As I mentioned, she's a co-host of 3 shows and soon to be 4. I hope she remembers that. And she's also one of our expert presenters on our Talking Heads platform. And she has been certified as an elevated listener on our listening team. And believe it or not, she has a whole life outside of this platform. So let's find out what she's up to, and then we'll bring out our guest. Hello, DIANN.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN. Great to see you.
Nice to see you too. So I just was kind of making a joke, but seriously, we're going to have 4 shows together sometime in the near future. That's our Christianity show.
I know. I'm excited about it. We'll have to get together and do some more brainstorming on it, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be beautiful and really touch people's hearts.
And it's at a perfect time for sure.
Yes.
So DIANN, I know that you've been off for a couple of days. You look well rested. Want to tell us a little bit about your trip?
Sure. For Mother's Day, my husband surprised me and put together I think it was really for him.
I love those kind of trips.
Kayaking and hiking.
So you got some exercise in too.
Yeah. So actually it was so lovely to be with nature. You never can go wrong. And so listening to the birds and out there. And I don't know if you know it, I used to be on a dragon boat team. So
oh my gosh. Is there anything you haven't done? It's amazing to me. You've traveled all over the world. You're the queen of networking. It's fascinating. But DIANN, I'm going to spotlight you for people who are joining us for the first time. You are an international award-winning author yourself, and your area of focus has been children and young adults. You're a former educator, and as I mentioned, you've traveled the world, and you are a performer. You have a beautiful voice. You're a master storyteller. Tell our audience a little bit about your passion for writing.
Sure, I'll be happy to. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Yes, I love to tell stories, and I have always told stories ever since I can remember, according to my mama. But now I put my stories to print, and the reason I love holding that book, oh my gosh, it's like giving birth to a baby, and knowing that different people will be reading it and enjoying it is I want to inspire kids to love themselves, to love others, to be kind to one another, and most importantly, to embrace imagination. So that's what I'm all about, Dr. JACALYN.
And how about your new book that's coming out?
Sure. Oh, and I need to give you we released the cover, so I'll need to give that to you. It is Charlie and the Tire Swing, and it's so precious, and I've dedicated it to my son because he lived on the tire swing when he was little. So this story has been written for quite a while, but it finally made it up the ladder to be published because, as you know, there's a lot of other people that are in line to have their books done, but this one finally made it, and I'm thrilled. It comes out October 8th.
Congratulations, DIANN. That is super fantastic.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Oh, we've got a wonderful guest backstage. I'm really looking forward to bringing her out. Her name is Mary Elizabeth Jackson, and she is an author. She's an advocate, and she's also an educator. And we're going to be talking about a number of her books, especially Cheers from Heaven. And she also has her own shows and her own platform, and she is out there every day helping other people. So let's bring her out and hear about her work. Welcome to the show.
I think you're on mute.
I am. Oh, yes, I am. And I live stream too on StreamYard, so I should have paid attention to that. But okay. I was trying to be very quiet. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And gosh, Diane, you are singing my song. I'm like, oh, I just love all that you're talking about, because that's so much a part of my world, is empowering kids. And gosh, they need it so much, don't they?
Especially now.
Yeah, they really do. So.
Well, we have you on Spotlight. Can you tell us a little bit about your work as an advocate, and then we'll get into the other areas?
Sure. So I am a parent advocate, and then I'm also a certified advocate for special needs and disabilities. And that means I can go in and help families in schools get the services that their children need, and help them to understand how to maneuver through that, understand the rights they have, that their children has, and trying to just better the situation for their child, period. And I'm an ambassador advocate for Autism Tennessee. So that is a nonprofit organization in Nashville, Tennessee, that reaches out throughout the state, and it provides services for families and kids of all ages that are on the spectrum. I am on an advisory board for a global for-profit called Billion-Strong, and they make sure companies all over the world hire people with disabilities. So my path as an advocate started out with my own children, because my second child and my third child actually were born nonverbal with various disabilities or challenges. And so from that moment really changed my life as a mom. And through that journey, my middle daughter experienced some significant trauma in school, which then changed my path again. So I have also gone to Capitol Hill in Tennessee and Nashville, and worked on laws and trying to better situations for kids and their rights. So, it's been an interesting journey. Lately, some of my focus has been to help make sure libraries are sensory friendly. And here locally, we created a sensory room at our library. April 2nd, we launched an art exhibit in the Nashville Public Library that has 8 individuals who all have challenges of various needs. And their art is on display for 6 months in the library. And we had the Schermerhorn Symphony open it up for us. It was really beautiful. And so that'll be an ongoing art exhibit. And like in 6 months, we're going to switch out from art to photographers who are on the spectrum or who have disabilities or challenges of various nature. That it'll just be a rotating art show that will be going on, which I'm so proud of. And I continue to advocate in any way that I can, and my journey has taken me in different ways than I really ever imagined that it would. But it's the most empowering thing that a mother or father or caregiver can do when you have a child with challenges, is to become an advocate or to get certified, and to just research what your child has, because that not only empowers you, it empowers your child, and it takes your situation from feeling like a victim to being more victorious. So I think it's really, really important. It definitely has been very significant in my life.
Congratulations. Oh my goodness. It's amazing all the things that you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
I want you to write down right now. You just said something, make a great title for a book.
Okay.
Victim to victorious.
Yes.
Jot that down. Don't you think, Dr. Jacqueline?
As soon as I heard that, I thought, yes, definitely. Definitely.
All right. I am working on a book to help parents, with parenting kiddos who have sensory issues or highly sensitive, intuitive, empathic, because they need to be parented differently. And you can just watch them blossom as you understand them and you give them direction and avenues to express themselves and to have a safe place to do it and to figure out who they are and what their loves are. It doesn't matter what a challenge is, really. There's a way they can blossom. And we really need to empower them that way.
Yeah, I was going to say that the work you're doing is obviously so important, and with what's going on in the world today, even more important than ever. So I just really salute you for doing what you're doing and making a difference.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about your work as an author. You certainly published a number of books. And what is it when you're writing? What is your passion? What is it that you want to convey to your audience, just overall?
Well, my story as an author started when I had a very late in life child who was very unexpected and ended up having challenges. And I almost didn't survive the birth. He almost didn't survive. And after that is where my first manuscript came from, actually. And I'm a poet by nature, but my passion for writing comes from helping children learn to accept who they are and how they came into this world, no matter how they came in. The world may say they're broken, but that's what the world says. It's not the truth about who they are. They're perfectly made just how they came into this world. And there's a lot of things that they can overcome, and we can help them as their caregivers and parents and things like that. I think it's also really important for children, and I feel like we're missing this in school, teaching how to understand their emotions in a way that they can process them, to go from a very charged situation to a much calmer situation. And in the end, teaching those tools very young in life will go with them all through life, and they'll have better work experiences when they're older. They'll have better relationships, better marriages, better parenting experiences themselves. But it will help, I think. I'm going to be working this summer on an bullying legislation, and I part of me really believes that if we can teach children how to process their emotions so they can feel more empowered, there's going to be less likelihood of a child to feel the need to bully another child, if they can understand how they're feeling and be able to process that and break it down and know it's not just happening to them. Or, I always say that we as the adults are the rocks that the children crash into with the waves of their emotions. So we got to stay steady and strong for them because their emotions are all over the place. So if we can take my son, who is just turned 9, and he is on the autism spectrum, and he has sensory and language and all kinds of other things, and he can understand his emotions because of what he's being taught through his therapies, then I think most children can be taught how to process and go, oh, okay, so right now, this is what I'm feeling. So instead of punching the wall, I understand that I'm angry or frustrated or upset, or maybe I'm just overly excited. I can sit down, and if we name it, we can tame it, kind of thing, and teaching them that mindfulness. So through my writing, I don't like to just tell stories. I like to educate as well, a child or an audience. But I like to write from the viewpoint of the child. I think it's very important to do that, so that the child never feels like we're talking down to them, but we're telling a story through their eyes and what their experience is. My middle grade reader, I actually asked, at the time my middle daughter was in middle school, so I asked lots of her friends, would you say this? Would you think this? Would you all actually do something like this? Because I wanted to make sure it was very accurate.
I love the fact that you do that research and you combine the education into your work.
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Yeah. And you do this same thing that I do. I go to a school, test out, get kids' thoughts, and then helps me know what to do next, because kids are so brutally honest. So
they're brilliant. Their brains are brilliant. Their thoughts are brilliant. If you just sit with them, I mean, sometimes it's more fun than being with adults. Actually,
actually, at a party, if there's kids, you're going to see me over there with the kids.
Oh, sure, right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, so are you in Tennessee? Is that where you are?
I am. Okay. Yeah, I sure am.
And do you do, in Texas, we have this thing where, at least I assume they still do it, but when my daughter was in middle school, we do this mainstreaming. And so each kid has a child they're assigned to. You can be part of a guardian angel group. And actually she did it through high school too. And that way, every child who has some learning difficulties, they are always part of everything because of their guardian angel that takes care of them at school. So y'all have something similar to that?
That's really sweet. I like that. Yeah, we do. There are programs like that here in the state, and it varies obviously from county to county. But inclusion is statewide to include kiddos. And the school that my son is in, they've done a really, really good job with the individuals who have either Down syndrome or are on the spectrum of some sort to really include those children into every aspect. Plays, productions, anything that's going on. And it's really made me very happy to see it, because so often children who are I'll say the world labels differently or different really are left out a lot. I walk in both worlds. I walk in a typical mom's world and a non-typical mom's world. And so I know what it's like to have a child who has lots of friends and a child who doesn't have friends calling all the time or over and wanting to do something. That's very hard for a child. Because I think by nature, we all want to be accepted. We all want to be loved, and we all want to feel heard and important. And the more that we can do that in this world, it's important. Not everybody's going to like you, and children need to understand that, because their little brains are so precious. When they go to the playground somewhere, they can't imagine that the little child in the sandbox doesn't want to be their friend. Their eyes are wide with wonder. They walk up and, what friend am I going to make today? And as adults, we don't really do that, because we've learned not everybody's going to like us, and we're not going to like everyone else, but we can at least get along. And I think that's a very important thing to even teach children when they're young is, to be kind and to be more accepting of others, because that's a tool that people have to learn to do. I think by nature, people tend to go, wow, okay, so I'm wearing green today and everyone I know wears green and you're wearing brown. Does that make us different or the same? So we have to help little ones understand that, it's okay.
That's great. It's a great segue into your book, don't you think, Dr. JACALYN?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I also want to talk about your TV shows, but first we're going to take a break and then we'll come back and continue our discussion. So we're going to take a look at a couple of sponsorships from the lovely DIANN Floyd BOEHM. Take a look and we'll be back.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
DIANN Floyd BOEHM's A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at DIANNFloydBOEHM.com.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, DIANN BOEHM. I'm so happy to have you here today.
DIANN Floyd BOEHM tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's little girl in the moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Dianne's delightful books and much more at DIANNFLOYDBOEHM. Visit DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. That's DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com.
Take a moment.
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 So I've had the privilege of photographing some incredible people over the years, and during each shoot I've asked the subject to close their eyes and take themselves to a peaceful place just for a few seconds. I've found that this really helps to refresh the energy between the camera and the subject. They had an energy that was quite special and quite different from the rest of the shoot. The collection grew, and now it feels the right time to use it for something good. I think it'd be amazing if we could help to raise awareness and involve people in the discussion about mental health. So what we're asking to do is for everyone to upload their own self-portraits. All of these portraits will become part of a massive artwork. I'm really excited to see this project go from hundreds of pictures to thousands of pictures. Essentially, an ever-evolving artwork that says we're all in this together.
Close your eyes and take a moment.
Hello and welcome back. Thanks for staying with us through the break. This is USA Global TV and Radio, and our show today is The Corner Bookstore. Let's welcome back my co-host, Dianne Floyd-Boehm. Hello.
Hello.
And our special guest, Mary Elizabeth Jackson. She's an author, she's an educator, and she's an advocate. And her most recent book, Cheers from Heaven, is available on Amazon. Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, but this book is about 5 friends who are feeling a lot of emotions come up for them when they realize that one of their classmates has passed away. And they all had done things that were not so nice to this person named Drew, and teacher gets involved and helps them realize they need to go to the parents and express what it is that they did. And they find out that Drew has left this box behind, and somehow the contents of the box really changed their lives. How'd I do?
You did perfect. You could be an advertisement for me. So yes, this was a passion project for my co-writer Thornton Klein and I, and part of it is a true story, and it's kind of based off of a little bit about a true story. It was we started in 2018, 2019 writing it, and we were like, how can we touch kids? What can we do that's important for children? We want to teach, we want to storytell, and we want to do something that could be a movement to help. And so that's where this book came from. And there are tools in the back, some applications that can be used for individual students, classrooms, and schools. And so we really want to get this book out everywhere in the hands of kids. And it's ages 8, 9 up to like 14. And it really depends on a child's, their level of reading, where they're at, and their understanding of what they're reading, their comprehension. But yes, it's a story about redemption. And I think it's good for us to have stories that teach children of the importance of ownership of their actions, because all actions have consequences to them. And I remember I've been parenting over 22 years now. My children's age span wide apart, but that's something that's always been in conversation. think about your choices before you make them. There's always a consequence to them, and I think that's something we probably say a million times as a parent and hope once they hear it when they need to. But yes, Tears from Heaven is a very special book about 5 children who were mean to a child who died of leukemia. And we come into the story about 6 months later, and these kids one by one start to feel guilty about what they did. They realize one of our main characters, she starts to have bad dreams and she can't shake how she feels about it. And so it kind of there's a ricochet, like a domino effect with the other 4 friends, and they all start to realize that what they did was wrong, and their guilt, I guess, consumes them to the point that they go to the teacher. And we wanted to bring a teacher into the story that the children would see that it is okay to trust a teacher to talk to them about something that's very important. We brought a parent in. Julia's mother is one who goes with them when they decide, when they make that decision to go talk to the child's parents, the Drew's parents. And so we wanted to show that relationship as well being important. And there's also underlying characteristics of the characters each. Drew was a high functioning ASD child that no one ever knew. And you've got Jose, who was nonverbal as a child. And, one of them has a toy with them always for comfort. So I wanted to bring those non-visual challenges in because so many children deal with certain things that nobody ever sees, but yet they're treated differently. And so those awarenesses, I think, are really important to start creating that mindfulness in kids. And, they end up learning to forgive themselves. And they are forgiven, and the journey they go on helps them grow much bigger than they ever imagined. And then their whole school gets involved. So, it's a happy ending, which we all like those.
I was going to ask you if they learned the power of forgiveness, but you just answered that. Yes. Yes.
Which is very powerful, to forgive and to then be forgiven and accept that forgiveness, is very important.
What
Absolutely.
a powerful book. What a powerful book.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So it's one, like you said, Diane, it's a birthing experience. And I think it's the closest that men ever get to is birthing a book or having a kidney stone. It's kind of, I don't know, So I think that's the closest they get to it. But yeah, it is, because so much of our heart goes into this. And especially if you're writing for more than just, but even people who are writing for just pleasure, they're so consumed in their characters. It may take them, and they may spend several years developing their characters so that to the point where they're talking to their characters more than they are their own family members. So it's like my daughter, my middle daughter, who is nonverbal. So here's a little bit of a story that's inspirational, I think, for others. She was nonverbal as a child. I didn't hear "I love you" till she was 4. She had many challenges. She went through an incredible trauma at the age of 5. She's overcome so much. So she's one of my heroes. I always cry because I just think she's amazing. But she actually is a 5-time published illustrator. She just graduated high school last weekend, and art was her platform, her channel. That's why I believe the arts are so important for children, because it's a safe way for them to process how they feel. Any kind of art form, any sport form, anything where they can release how they feel in a very safe way and be able to kind of work themselves through what's happening for them. But she has written a 138,000 word novel, sci-fi fantasy. And so 90% of the time you'll find her looking off or thinking about her characters. So she's always in that world as a writer already at her age. So yeah, we do spend a lot of time as writers in those places, don't we?
Yes, you do.
Congratulations. And for your daughter, that is tremendous. Really. We have another show here on this platform. It's called The Art of Creating Mental Health Wealth. And it's all about how people who are experiencing mental health issues, or they've had them through their whole life, how they use art to express themselves. So that would be great to have her on the show. She'd be interested.
Yes, absolutely. I'd love that for her, and I'm sure she would too. I think it's so important. That's one of the reasons I put together the art exhibit at the at the National Public Library because it's called Creativity Empowers. Because for a nonverbal person, the ability to draw or write or create, even if they go into filmmaking, even if they're not able to communicate other ways, those are avenues of expression, and that opens the doors for us to come in and see their world, how they think, what they feel. And it's so important to be able to have those expressions for people. A person even who maybe is an architect or a landscaper, they may not be able to communicate really well, but look at the expression they're putting out in the world, and they're able to say in their own way how they're feeling and what's going on for them. So actually I'm working on a journal right now for kids that's for verbal and nonverbal children. So hopefully it'll help. We hope so.
Another A plus person here. You and Diann.
I know we got to team up, Diann. We got to collaborate for sure.
It sounds good because my brain's already going, oh, I need to tell you about this I did when I was a teacher.
So we got to schedule some other time. So the shows that I have, I know you were going to ask me, Dr. JACALYN, because it ties into all of this. I in 2017, I was first published in my first children's book, won an award, and I just, I don't know if this happens to you all, but sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up and God says, you got to do this, and I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? I don't even know how to do that. So I don't care. Do it anyway. So one of them was to do the show for authors, and this summer will be 4 years for the Writers Corner Live show. And we're just starting a network with other author shows underneath us. And it's a 30-minute platform for authors to come in, and we've interviewed authors all over the world and at various different stages, newbies all the way to New York Times bestsellers and international bestsellers and all that fun stuff. And then I have Special Needs TV, and that is all about the special needs and disability world. And it features interviews and resources and information. And sometimes I do stuff with my son. We did a series at the library where we went in and did crafts or science experiments for children through the library, and so that families could do that at home with their kids. It doesn't matter the stage of where a child is, because an adult can easily help them do it. And sometimes it's just the experience of watching something explode or grow or change color, which is very satisfying because we're all sensory humans. And so we take in that information 9 different ways. And so it's like when we go to a waterfall and we close our eyes and we hear that sound of the waterfall that calms us down, we're taking in that information from various ways other than just seeing it. And so all those experiences are very important. In my house with my 3 kids who are all sensory kids, we have a lot of sensory things in our home. I guess my children are always like, oh, that's so satisfying, or, just watching it or hearing it or touching it or feeling it, or the power of a weighted blanket or stuffed animal that's comforting and soothing, to have that compression. So it's fascinating what you learn as a mom with kids who have needs.
Thank you for sharing that, Mary Elizabeth. While I have you on Spotlight, what's your experience been like as a TV host?
It's been fantastic. I absolutely love it. It's one of my very, very favorite things. I really enjoy getting, I feel like I want to sit and ask you both questions because it's my nature to want to know what's your story? What makes you tick? How did you get here where you are? What is your passion? So I really do enjoy it. And I enjoy sharing resources and information with others, because I felt very lost. And even becoming an author, I didn't know what I was doing. I was green as the grass. And I was lucky enough to get connected to someone who was already published, and the journey went from there. But I remember what that's like, to have a child with a new diagnosis and to not know what I'm doing, and to have a child who suffers a trauma. It can be a lonely place. So this is my way of giving back in a way.
Diann?
No, I'm just in awe of everything you're doing. And I remember when I was teaching 4-year-olds one day, when you were talking about them getting so excited, I went and I bought, it was brand new at the time, So I'm curious if you use these where it's a little sponge and then you put it in water and each kid got their own little sponge and then it turned into a dinosaur, different shapes. And then they had to color that day. And then we had a verbal exercise and blah, blah, blah from there. But watching them get so excited about the changes, you know.
It's amazing, isn't it? And it's so fun at that age because it's the very simple things that can bring about that, okay, we've got them busy for a little while. They're learning and it's a safe environment, right? It's legal what we're doing. So, you know, yeah.
I want a sponge that turns into a dinosaur.
I know. They still make them, believe me. I saw some recently. I was like, oh, I remember when, you know, because my guy's a little bit older now, but we'll be doing a lot of science experiments over the summer and just those things that allow a child to get messy, but it's okay. Just take them outside and hose them off and everything's all good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's great about finger painting. And I even, you know, I taught my kids what I loved to do when I was a kid, when play in the mud and make mud shapes. You know, you don't have to have Play-Doh, just use the mud.
I know, right? Just try not to eat it.
Just try not to eat it. That's right. But Dr. JACALYN, the two of you, I can just see so much collaboration. That is for sure. But I am so impressed, Mary Elizabeth, with all that you're doing and making such an impact in the world and your books. And when I read the blurb about your Cheers to Heaven, I just started crying. I was like, oh my gosh. But this book, I think, really belongs in not in schools and major libraries. It should be you should have a team of people that goes around the whole United States teaching with it. I know
that's where I'm trying to get there. I need a team of people who will collaborate with me. So yes, I know that's what I'm working on right now, actually.
So it's really great. And maybe you could, if we have time to Dr. JACALYN, she could talk a little bit about your young children's books because they're adorable.
Oh, thank you. They mean a lot to me as well. They were inspired by my son. And like I said, you know, we both survived pretty traumatic birth experience. He stopped growing in utero and they had prepared us that he would be brain damaged and not walk. And then after he was born, I was back in the hospital with a post-surgical infection that was very serious. And so I think he was probably about 5 months old and I was nursing and just in this all-consuming state of gratitude, I will call it, of just being alive. He's alive. We're okay. We're here. And that's where the first book came from. And I was able to team up with an incredible illustrator. The funny thing is I sat on that story for 2 years. I thought I was going to save it for him. I was like, you know, it'll be sweet for him. Who wants to read this? I'm just a mom, right? Even though I wanted to be a writer. And so this little nudging kept saying for about 2 years, you got to do something with this. And then I was introduced to the gentleman who is a co-writer of mine. We're buddies. We actually just wrote a song last summer with one of my daughters. They just recorded this song and we're getting ready to release it on radio. So we're very excited about this. But he wrote the songs for the first book and, it's kind of funny when you surrender to what you're supposed to be doing in life, not, maybe what you want to necessarily be doing. Sometimes the doors start to open, don't they? And so I have a page in each of those books that's an I am page because my goal with those stories is to get kids to start that positive language. I am brave. I am strong. I am one of a kind. I am amazing. So when I go and speak to children and I read the books, I did this just about 2 weeks ago. We play a little game. And the kids get a sticky pad and they get to write you are with a positive word or I am with a positive word. And then we pass them around and then each child gets to open them up and read what somebody has written about them, but they're saying it about themselves or from someone else. And the children like it so much they keep wanting to play it. They really like that game. And but it's they're learning through fun. And that's a really great way to teach children is that way. And so we also do that. And then I have a word game that I play with kids when I go and I do live events, which we're starting to get back into that more than I know, Diane, it was probably hard for you too. It is for authors, what we've been through with COVID and not being able to be live in front of people. It's been challenging. We've had to get creative.
Absolutely. We had to get creative.
May I
Yeah.
just say that those games that the children are playing, I think are really needed for adults as well.
I know, right? Because, and that's where it stems from, Dr. Jacqueline, is like, how have I used affirmations in my life and taught my own children how to use them? So let's teach more children how to use them, because I mean, I use affirmations all the time, and I positive ones. You know, we all have struggles, and we've all been through. Wow, what an amazing time we've been through! But we have to come out. We hope we can come out of this stronger than what we went into it.
Yes, absolutely. And
true.
I also think it's about perspective. We interviewed this morning a trauma and burn surgeon. And can you imagine what he has to see and deal with every day? And one thing he shared was that he has a really different perspective about what's important and what's not. And so I think there's a lot of things we can let go of instead of obsessing about these little small things in life, and just focus on being kind and grateful.
Absolutely, 100%. We need t-shirts.
Yes, me too. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here, Mary Elizabeth, and congratulations. You are a superhuman, that is for sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate the time and being here, and I can't wait to, I don't know, see you ladies again, I hope.
Yes, for sure. You're welcome
Definitely.
to come back on any of our 26 shows that we do a week. And I'm sure Diane and I have ideas of how we can each collaborate with you. So
I would love that, really, because there's power in numbers, right?
definitely,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yes.
I'm going to spotlight you again and put up your banner. But for people who are not able to read the banner, or they're listening on the radio, what's the best way to contact you, and who would you like to reach out?
Hi. Yeah. So the best way to contact me, is you can go to my website, maryejackson.com, and my email is mary@maryejackson.com. If you have, any questions about advocacy and parenting, book coaching, I am also a ghostwriter, things like that. And I'm on Facebook as Mary Elizabeth Jackson. I think I'm Mary Jackson 5 on Instagram, and Mary Elizabeth Jackson on LinkedIn.
All right, we know where to find you.
I know.
Fantastic.
And did you see how she said added one more thing? I think she has 48 hours in her day as a ghostwriter on top of that.
I know. I know. I'm trying to finish a project right now. So I'm like, okay, right. I'm editing, and then my little guy, I go play with him for a little bit and then come back editing because school just got out, right? So I'm trying to balance.
I don't know how you do it, but keep doing it, because the world needs more people like you.
Thank you.
man.
I'm so blessed to be here today, and it's really a true honor. Thank you, ladies, so much.
You're
Thank you. We look forward to having you back again and finding out what else you're up to. All right. Take good care, Mary Elizabeth. Thank you again for being here.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you. Wasn't she delightful, Diane?
Delightful, amazing, incredible. I think she's your twin sister.
Well, but I don't have any kids, so that's what the big difference is. Like, I can get all the things done because I spend all my time in this darkness behind the green screen. But when you have kids, that's a whole different story.
Well, I'm going to tell a little secret, and you can yell at me backstage. Everybody, Dr. Jacqueline has a heart of gold because she gives a lot of time and sweetness and kindness and love to her mother. And you travel with her, you live with her. That's a lot. So,
Yes, it is my gift. I thank God for it every day.
I had to talk to my mom in heaven, but that keeps you busy besides doing your other things. So
that's very true.
Both of you girls are dynamites, that's for sure.
Well, and so are you, Diane. You're a beautiful person inside and out. And I'm really grateful, not only for meeting you, which is huge, and your daughter, but all the people that you've referred to this platform. It's really a gift.
Well, easy to do when you've put together this amazing platform, and congratulations. I'll let you tell everybody about the great big kudos that just happened to you. That was hard work.
Oh, well, thank you. I got a positive email. I love that when you get an email that's all good news. And it was from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. I got it yesterday that USA Global TV is officially registered. And I wasn't sure if it was going to go through because I don't know exactly what their process is, but one of their attorneys called me to say that she was going to let it go through, but she didn't think it would make it through the next round because there are other television platforms that have like a global TV. And she said, what's the difference between what you're doing and what other people are doing? And I said, well, we have 4 purposes and that's it. It's education, entertainment, inspiration, and hope. And it's all positive. And it's from people from all over the world to share their stories and have a safe place to do so. And she said, okay, I'm going to do what I can to get it through. So yay.
Yay. See, you know, Mary Elizabeth said something that she slipped in there, and I thought of you and I both. It's amazing what doors open when you discover what you're supposed to be doing, not necessarily what you thought you were supposed to be doing, correct?
Yes, very true. Very true. And Diane, before we close out, do you have any of your books there?
No, I don't. I just wanted to concentrate on on the good news you had and spend time on that. But I will be sending you because now it's released to show the world the cover to the new book. So I'll make sure you have that. But congratulations to everything you do, and it's a true honor, as you know, to be on all of your shows.
Well,
So-
thank you, Diane. I appreciate it. And I'm going to spotlight you. And if you can share with our audience how they can reach out to you, how they can purchase your books, and how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. So you may reach me at DIANN FLOYD B as in boy OEHM.com. Notice I started directing it, Dr. Jacqueline.
Yes, I love
The
it.
music, follow the bouncing ball. DianneFloydFame.com. You can find me right there, and I'll be happy to hear from you. Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline.
Would you like to close us out with part of a song as I put you on the spot?
I don't know what kind of song. Let's see. I haven't warmed up at all, but how about tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. You're only a day away. How about that?
Woo! Brought tears to my eyes. Beautiful, Diane. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Dr. Jacqueline. You do that to me all the time.
Well, on that note, Diane and I are signing off for today. Our next show is the Film and Music Show, and my co-host is Madeline Chan, and our guest, we welcome back Scott Travers, Big Scott. So thanks again. Diane and I are signing off. We'll see you next week.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.